presiding over these trials have legal training and appointed through a transparent process, a function independently of their superiors' influence.
Despite numerous calls to empower the courts of judicature, the majority took the day.
The members of the UPDF court-martial must be independent and impartial. They told us how they believe the independence and impartiality should be set out.
For instance, since terrorism can only be tried by High Court, which is an ordinary or civil court, it would be contradictory to try it in the military court as well.
The offenses provided in the bill: murder, aggravated robbery, kidnap with intent to murder, treason, misprision of treason, and cattle rustling have all been provided already in our law books. That is the Penal Code Act.
Another marathon legislation was the Political Parties and Organization Bill 2025, which accommodated the Inter-Party Organization for Dialogue, IPOD, into the National Consultative Forum.
One of them is to restrict government funding and other public resources provided to political parties and political organizations that are represented in Parliament to only political parties and organizations that are members of the National Consultative Forum.
This was in the spirit of enhancing the political arena, which is believed to be diluted by some players who are alleged to be intolerant to each other.
Clustering the political parties and organizations in Uganda under the National Consultative Forum based on representation in Parliament and those that are not represented in Parliament shall promote the spirit of tolerance, dialogue and peaceful coexistence. Since the clustered political parties and organizations share similar and unique challenges that can be resolved through dialogue among themselves in their respective organs.
The minority observed that all political parties and organizations that the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025 contravenes the provision of Article 93 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Rule 130.
The new legislation was approved by the President, placing conditions for political parties to fetch funding from the Consolidated Fund. These included, among others, joining IPOD, abiding by its objectives, and participating in its activities.
The law is also saying that if you do not want to cooperate by being part of IPOD, then you do not qualify. Meaning that if you don't participate in IPOD, the money that is going to be distributed to the other parties that are in IPOD actually will be within them and it increases on their money.
The idea of political parties talking to each other, if it's a genuine discussion, is a very good idea. But if the discussion centers about money, then you have lost the whole value that you should extract from a meeting of those who are in the ruling party and those who are in the opposition. So a dialogue in itself is a good idea, but it cannot be a negotiation for money.
What remains is the implementation of the controversial legislation to ensure that the democratic space harvests growth.
If you have a different understanding, at least don't be violent. Don't use violence. Don't use subversion. Like the members here were saying, yes, they have got their different points of view, but let them express them peacefully, and then we see whether we agree or disagree.
Daniel Mugoya reporting.
The National Resistance Movement Delegates Conference was one of the most heated events that made dramatic headlines between the 20th to the 28th of August this year and brought close to 1 million delegates at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds to elect the party leadership for the next 5 years. One of the controversial activities during the Delegates Conference was the election of the Central Executive Committee members of the party that saw all of the incumbents lose their seats to new new entrants. During the election, the incumbents accused the new entrants of voter bribery and excess use of money in the course of the campaigns and urged the national chairman of the party, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to investigate the matter brought to his attention. Philip Aguta looks at how the exercise started and ended in the courtyard of victory, frustration and tears. Let's have the report.
Between 20th to 28th of August this year ending, Kololo ceremonial grounds were painted yellow with thousands of NRM delegates across the country gathering to elect leaders of the top organ of the party, the Central Executive Committee. Behind the yellow gathering was happiness, frustration and pain for both candidates and supporters.
5, 6, 7, 8.
In the first leg of the party election, the national chairman, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and his vice chairman, Alhaji Moses Chigongo, went through unopposed. In the race for the second national chairperson, female, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Annette Among, defeated seasoned politician and incumbent Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga. In the race for the national vice chairperson, Eastern incumbent Captain Mike Mukula pulled out of the race before voting ended. This posted a clear win for his political rival, Calvin Echodu. In the race for the national vice chairperson Western region, Jonad Asimwe, a new kid on the block, defeated the giant ICT minister Chris Bariomusi, who cried foul to the national chairman of the party, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, that his victory was robbed at the cost of voter bribery. In Kampala, Salim Uhuru uprooted incumbent Singh Katongole with an undisputed win. Haruna Kasolo Cheyune, another first-timer and junior state minister for microfinance, saw the exit to incumbent Godfrey Chiwanda Subi, who also conceded before they could go to the ballot. The race left Kasolo with one rival, renowned businessman Moses Karangwa Kalisia. From Central Buganda region to Northern region, Government Chief Whip Dennis Hamson Oboa emerged the winner of the national vice chairperson for Northern region, replacing former Speaker of Parliament Jacob Olanya in a silent victory that never attracted political rivalry dust. Lokir John Baptist won the national vice chairperson for Karamoja, replacing the late Simon Alepe, who died in an accident in 2024. Party chairman, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who witnessed the elections throughout the night, commended the delegates for their participation and pledged to investigate the accusations of voter bribery. The winners applauded the participants for entrusting them with leadership positions and pledged to take the NRM party to greater heights.
It has been an exciting journey standing for SEC, NRM SEC. Thank my family and all my friends and delegates who supported me. I'm very grateful. It has been an exciting process going throughout the country, meeting delegates and learning how the party is still strong, how the support is there for the chairman and for his agenda. I'm very excited to be elected as a SEC member for Eastern Region, and I want to thank all the voters, all the delegates who voted for me.
Upon everybody who participated and competed with us, we remain one, we unite the party. When you enter a game, there is win and a loss. When you win, thank God. And when you don't make it, you have won, but at a limited rate. So we are all winners. Otherwise, I want to thank you, and I'll make sure that we do the better. I'm so happy because it's a big experience I'm going to have.
Meanwhile, the losers alleged that the elections were not free and fair, citing voter bribery.
Bringing the hooligans to come and line up, we stopped it. But eventually, even if the hooligans, I managed to win. Now, we are requesting all Mosei to come in and help us.
As we draw closer to the 2026 general presidential elections, the NRM victory will be measured by the political mobilization regional SEC vice chairpersons from their regions that will give the national outlook of the NRM victory against opposition NUP protest vote slogan. Philip Aguta for UBC News.
Thank you very much, Philip Aguta, for that in-depth report. Now, in more news, the former commander of the Special Operations Unit, Assistant Superintendent of Police Nixon Agasire, and his co-accused Nasur Abdullah Mugonole, who now await trial before the International Crimes Division of High Court over the alleged murder of Principal Director of Public Prosecutions Joan Kagezi. His file is now progressing. Of course, this follows the testimony by UPDF Desta One Chiseka Daniel in the International War Crimes Division Court, who pleaded guilty to have murdered John Namazi Kagezi, and that Awan Nick gave them 2 million shillings each and availed them with a gun to murder Kagezi. Our court reporter Deborah Namamonde looks at the arrest of Nixon Agasire as one of the biggest stories that trended in the temple of justice this year ending.
It's been 10 years, we've never given up on this fight.
The long-awaited trial into the murder of the principal state prosecutor, Joan Namazi Kagezi, gained momentum following the arrest and the prosecution of 4 suspects, Chibuka John, Masajage John, Chiseka Daniel, and Nur Abdara.
We are very happy. It's been 10 years, we've never given up on this fight. So this is also an indication that we are still headstrong, and we are going to do whatever is necessary to ensure that this case is actually prosecuted to its conclusion.
The 4 suspects were initially charged before the Nakawa Chief Magistrates Court, where they pleaded not guilty.
We are still looking for other leads. If they uncover more things, we shall definitely bring them to court. And we are very sure that the evidence we have will be enough to prosecute Agasire for the crime.
They were later committed to the International Crimes Division Court for a full trial earlier this year. During the proceedings, the prosecution amended the charge sheet, and one of the accused, Chiseka Daniel, a UPDF deserter, pleaded guilty to the murder of Joan Kagezi. Chiseka told court that the group used an AK-47 rifle to kill Joan Kagezi, and that they were each given 2 million shillings, part of the promised $200,000 for executing the murder.
Informed investigators that it is Chibuka John who shot and killed Joan Kagezi in his presence, while Masajage John was the motorcycle rider. The accused further revealed to investigators that following the murder of Joan Kagezi, 3 of them went to a witch doctor in Kayunga to perform some rituals on them.
Following his plea of guilty, court sentenced Chiseka Daniel to 35 years imprisonment.
Considered both the aggravating factors and mitigating factors of the case, issues such as the brutal manner in which she was killed, the use of a deadly weapon, which was a gun, a rifle.
However, the case took another dramatic turn when Chiseka Daniel later turned the prosecution witness, testifying that the murder was commissioned by a person identified as Nick, who allegedly provided the money and the gun.
Justice for her children and family at large, as well as the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, especially considering the fact that it's been over 8 years.
Although Chiseka did not immediately disclose the identity of Nick, security investigations later led to the arrest of the former Special Operations Commander, ASSP Nixon Agasire, and Abdul Nur Semuju alias Minana. On 17th June 2025, Agasire was arraigned before Chief Magistrate Esther Nandoi, where he was charged with the murder of Joan Kagezi.
At Chiwatu in Akawa Division, Kampala District, the police have found unlawfully caused the death of Joan Kagezi.
While on remand pending trial, the prosecution amended the charge sheet to include Abdul Nur Semuju, alleged to have been Agasire's aide. During his court appearance at Nakawa Chief Magistrate's Court, Semuju repeatedly caused disruption, openly expressing dissatisfaction with his alleged implication in the case.
The summary of the case when everybody else is not around. So this Mr. Minana, please listen.
On 18th December 2025, upon completion of investigations, ASSP Nixon Agasire and Semuju were formally committed to the International Crimes Division Court for a full trial. According to the prosecution, the indictment relies heavily on the testimony of Chiseka Daniel, who is expected to link Agasire and Semuju to the murder plot.
An interagency meeting was held at Nakuru Forensic Services, but during the meeting, A1 bumped into the meeting and informed the members that he had recovered one of the killer guns from Kayunga. To date, A1 has never produced that gun, an act that was intended to further divert investigations and cover up the crime.
Prosecution also relied on evidence from the previous convict, co-accused person, who testified that Nick provided them with money and an AK-47 rifle to assassinate Joan Kagezi.
A1 sent a team of operatives to her office at the International Crimes Division of the High Court, Kololo, and they took away her laptop, sanctioned police files by the deceased against A1 and others, provided funds, intelligence, surveillance, and cover-up for Chiboka John, who executed the murder of Joan Kagezi.
Prosecution further alleges that SSP Nixon Agasire was the mastermind behind the murder, claiming he facilitated the operation by supplying a firearm and coordinating the execution of the plan around Kawempe Division. With the commit of Nixon Agasire and Semuju to the High Court, it remains to be seen whether the prosecution will further amend the charge sheet to consolidate them with other accused persons already standing trial. So far, more than 10 witnesses have testified in the murder trial, including Chiseka Daniel, the daughter of the deceased, and several police officers. Principal State Prosecutor Joan Kagezi was shot dead in cold blood on 30th March 2015 in Chiwatule Nakawa Division, Kampala District. Joan Kagezi was the lead prosecutor in the landmark 2010 Kampala bombings case, in which more than 10 suspects were charged. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nance Subuga, UBC News.
As the year 2025 gets to its climax, we look at the performance of the judiciary, having registered an increase in case disposal, handling over 250,000 cases, representing 58% in the financial year 2024-25. The judiciary embraced alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, retirement of judicial officers, and used technology in handling cases, a reason to justify its achievements registered in the year ending.
We utilized 96.8% of our budget in the year.
In the financial year 2024-2025, the judiciary was allocated 42,263 billion budget to deliver justice to Ugandans. In the expenditure top on the agenda was an increase in case disposal to over 259,000 cases, making a percentage of 58% in the financial year 2024-2025 compared to the past years.
These magistrates' courts and high courts registered the highest completion rates due to reforms like the use of alternative dispute resolution, ADR, deployment of more judicial and administrative staff.
And also the lawyers have learned that mediation can help them become even more efficient, because if your law firm has 10 cases and you handle 3 or 4 of them through mediation, you can have time to allocate to the rest of the cases.
The Temple of Justice also focused on recruiting more judicial officers, constructing courts at various levels, and rolling out the e-justice system to streamline justice delivery.
Rukungiri High Court and Budaka Chief Magistrates Court buildings were completed. The judiciary undertook renovations and maintenance of court premises, with major works completed at Mbale, Kapchorwa, Ngora.
We've rolled out ECMIS in additional 5. Lugazi Chief Magistrate Court, Kayunga Chief Magistrate Court, and the Chifuma Grade 1. ECMIS is now in operation on 36 courts.
The other area of expenditure was to better judicial services for the islanders. With this, the judiciary provided a dedicated ferry and held court open days to boost public engagement on access to justice.
So that instead of those people coming from the other big islands to the court in Karangara, we take the judiciary there.
This includes vehicles for judges, registrars, and magistrates to facilitate locus visits and field inspection.
The core purpose of this open day is to demystify the operations of the judiciary, to create a safe and open space for free interaction between the public and the judicial officers.
Both justices of the Supreme Court are working tooth and nail to ensure that indiscipline, tardiness, and any other negative practices are stamped out of the judiciary.
Well, as there were many achievements scored in the judiciary grappled with limited manpower, posting 63% deficiency.
Those institutions on the justice chain, like DPP, must be facilitated. Why this digital, I'm just being proud of digital transformation. But it has also come with challenges, like limited connectivity, like power interruptions.
At the close of this year, a total of pending caseload of 190,793 cases were registered. However, of these, 46,180 cases were backlog, representing 24.20%.
Deliberate interventions have been made to deal with the growing caseload. These include organizing more court sessions, plea bargaining camps.
So we are saying this system was good. We are trying to really see how we can push this agenda of ADR to greater heights.
With the 2026 general elections clocking at the door, how is the judiciary prepared to handle electoral matters?
Elections are the cornerstone of democratic governance. However, they often generate disputes that require the judiciary to act promptly with utmost integrity, impartiality, and efficiency.
We are going to hold even a special session of election petitions and election petition appeals for the chief magistrates.
During the 30th annual Joint Government Development Partners Justice Law and Order Sector JELOS Sub-Program Review in the financial year 2024-2025, the head of the jail secretariat revealed growing public trust in the sector.
69% and as low as 40%. People are now more satisfied with the decisions that are taken by these new institutions. This is also revealed in the Justice Needs Survey 2024 undertaken by the Hague Institute for Innovating Law.
Looking ahead, the judiciary says it will focus on strengthening adjudication of cases, improving court automation, and constructing more courts in the financial year 2025-2026.
Ensure that Uganda's justice system remains accessible, fair, and responsive to the needs of the citizens. The judiciary is committed to strengthening the use of alternative dispute resolution ADR mechanisms to resolve cases.
We are implementing the rules and practice direction to support electronic filing. The judiciary plans to design, install, and implementation of judicial facility room will provide real-time analytics. I can assure the public we are going to continue and even accelerate.
Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansubuga, UBC News.
Once again, thank you very much, Deborah Namamonde, for giving us and feeding us well from the judiciary. Now, the Uganda Police has been at the center stage of ensuring safety and protection of property. Management of crime has been overly supported with the use of technology and enhancement of sensitization that has encouraged community policing. Now, the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Twishime Gerald, says that crime in Kampala has significantly reduced and is expectant that this shall continue through next year.
Let us wait for the annual crime report. But I know Kampala we shall score highly. We have reduced crime. Oh, crime has reduced. And how? We have engaged so much the public in fighting crime through one tool of community mobilization, community sensitization. And we have made sure that we do it from the grassroots level, at village level, the parish and to the top. That's why you saw last week, the other week, we had an activity in the town center where we had a crime walk procession. The theme was crime-free festive season. But we had very many activities within the regions, the divisions, and the outpost stations, sensitizing the communities. And we have target groups. The target groups, we have the LC1 chairpersons, the leaders, because now these ones are the kings out there at the villages. They know their people. If they are criminals, they know that it is the son of Gerard who is the criminal around. If there are new residents within the area, they know that these residents, this person has come in, is a new person within our area. We have target groups, the borders. If the borders are not managed, they can also become a menace. We have target groups of the youth at large. Like you have seen the way the ghetto youth have been mobilized. And I want to thank His Excellency the President that he came up with that wise wisdom and initiative of mobilizing the youth, especially the ghetto youth, and empowering them, supporting them in very many projects, and these projects, some of them which are skilling projects, so that they can start and have a living on their own. Others have borders, others are making soap, they're making shoes, they have joined the garage. So, the other target groups, we have members of the community who are at large, like in the markets. We have the schools. We need to sensitize these children, the youth, and all people that we think that we need to pull or to attach them to us as stakeholders in fighting crime.
The PRO here will
In our faith-based religious stories of the year that made headlines was the coming of renowned international evangelist Benny Hinn, who visited Uganda for a pastoral evangelical mission. In his pastoral message, Benny Hinn implored President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for presiding over a peaceful nation, as well as granting Ugandans freedom of worship and faith. Benny Hinn made the remarks while manifesting at a miraculous healing crusade held at the Miracle Center Cathedral Church in Kampala after meeting President Museveni and the First Lady at State House, Nakasero. Our reporter Ivan Juko with this report.
Is this your daughter right there, sir? I see the Lord on her.
Benny Hinn arrived into the country for a 3-day evangelical crusade to lead a season of miraculous experiences. Preparing for the second day of his crusade in Uganda, Benny Hinn earlier met President Yoweri Museveni and the First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni at State House. He commended the president for ensuring peace and unity in the country and granting citizens the freedom of worship.
There is no definition of life among the men who have tried to define it. Because life is a person, and his name is Jesus. Because it says, in him was life. And he said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life.
President Museveni applauded the evangelist for his love to Ugandans and for the courageous and healing sessions to masses.
The value addition to Africa by Christianity was the message of resurrection, which is what you are saying now. Because that one was really new. Our people knew God. We call him Katonda in our language. Katonda, the creator of things. We knew that. Our ancient people knew that.
Yeah.
But the issue of resurrection was new. This is what I told them. When I said this is the value addition to Africa by Christianity, which is exactly what you are saying. Then the message of Jesus, love God with all your heart and all your mind.
Yes, sir.
And then love your neighbor as you love yourself. This is very, very important also.
And I pray for this wonderful president and his dear wife that you've ordained in this nation to lead this nation to your righteous path.
First of all, we want to thank you for welcoming the anointing the way you did, to provide him with security, transportation, your own vehicle. And Mama, thank you so much. Mzee, thank you so much.
Later, Benny Hinn, a famous known charismatic leader, preached to a crowd that gathered for a second day of the miraculous healing crusade at Miracle Center Cathedral Church grounds in Kampala. Benny Hinn blessed the gathering and the Kayanja ministries led by Pastor Robert and Jessica Kayanja. Evangelist Ben Hinn officially inaugurated Robert Kayanja Jr. as a full pastor and gave him the blessing to traverse the nations and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Who is this young man here? Who is this young man? That's your son. I know the son makes part of the life. I can feel his glory. Come on, Jim.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
In the past.
Thank you very much, Ivan Juko. Now, as the world bids farewell to 2025, it is a moment of reflection on the lives of some of the most prominent individuals who left the planet this year. From celebrated journalists and political icons to revered spiritual leaders, their legacies continue on, as our reporter Henry Okrut looks at some of them.
The year of loss began in early January when Uganda mourned the passing of Muhammad Segirinya, the Kawempe North Member of Parliament.
And support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by the law established. So help me Allah.
He died on 9th January 2025 at the age of 37. He was known for his dedication to his constituents.
I have a system in Kawempe which is called the Segi Books,
to give each and every family 100,000 every month.
His sudden passing left a gap in civic leadership and moved many to honor his service in Parliament. Just hours later, on 9th January, another respected Ugandan leader also died.
I'm Margaret Baba Diri, woman member of Parliament for Koboko District.
Margaret Babadiri was a veteran politician and long-serving representative for persons with disabilities in Parliament.
And I asked it very innocently, because nobody has informed me about the speaker, about his whereabouts.
Her advocacy for inclusion and education marked decades of public service. The nation continued to reflect on loss in late January with the death of Brigadier General Charles Oluka, the Director General of Uganda's Internal Security Organization. He passed on 29th January 2025, leaving behind a legacy in national security leadership.
Later in the program, we'll give you, the audience, a chance to call and talk with us.
On 27th March, the continent lost one of its most iconic journalists, Shaka Sali, a renowned Ugandan American broadcaster and former host of Straight Talk Africa on Voice of America. For more than 2 decades, Sali was a compelling voice on democracy, governance, and African affairs until his death at the age of 71. In May, tragedy struck the business community with the untimely death of Rajiv Ruparelia on 3rd May 2025. The young Ugandan entrepreneur and managing director of the Ruparelia Group died in a motor vehicle accident. Mid-year, 16th July, the academic community mourned Professor Livingstone Serwadaluwobi, a mathematician and former vice-chancellor of Makerere University. He was remembered for his contributions to higher education and research. August saw the environmental movement in Uganda grieve the loss of Frank Muramuzi, the executive director of the National Association of Professional Environmentalists. His work advocating for environmental protection brought focus to sustainable development in the region. On 11th August, Uganda bid farewell to Mary Businje Karoro Okurut, a distinguished educator, celebrated author, and veteran politician. Karoro's public service spanned decades, from lecturing at Makerere University to founding the Uganda Women Writers Association and serving as a long-time MP and cabinet minister in several portfolios, including general duties. At the time of her passing, she was a senior presidential advisor and widely admired for her advocacy for women's empowerment. The Catholic Church in Uganda also lost a spiritual leader. Bishop Charles Martin Wamika, the Bishop of Jinja, died on 22nd October 2025, leaving behind decades of service to his community and the church. But 2025 was a year not only of national loss. On 21st April, the world mourned the death of Pope Francis, the first Latin American Pope, a global spiritual leader known for his advocacy for the poor. He died at age 88 after a period of illness, closing a papacy that touched millions globally.
God be with you till we meet again. By his counsel's guidance.
And in October, East Africa bid farewell to a towering political figure, Raila Amolo Odinga, former Prime Minister of Kenya and a central figure in the region's political evolution, died on 15th October 2025 at the age of 80. Celebrated for his long fights for democratic reforms and inclusive governance, Odinga's passing drew attention from influential leaders in politics and public service to voices of faith and journalism. Their stories of dedication, leadership, and service continue to shape conversations about legacy and impact across Uganda, East Africa, and the world. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Their life and contribution will be immensely missed by so many, including their family and the country. May their souls continue to rest in peace. With more stories this evening, the trial of Dr. Kizza Besigye and his co-accused aide, Haji Obed Lutale, and Captain Dennis Olalo over alleged treasonable and misprision of treason charges is among the big stories of the year ending that made headlines, attracting legal interpretation complexities on whether civilians purported to be with preserves of the army or found in subversion criminal offences be tried before military court-martials. The menace in interpreting the law has defined the tone proceedings of the case ever since Dr. retired Colonel Kizza Besigye, Haj Obed Lutale and Captain Olalo Dennis were transferred from the military court to the civilian court following a landmark decision by the Supreme Court of Uganda. The transfer has, however, presented legal complexities that have slowed the process of the case, now before Justice Emmanuel Baguma at the High Court Criminal Division in Kampala. Deborah Namamonde looks at the legal technicalities that played out in the course of the hearing, to date unresolved as the year comes to an end.
Involving civilians must immediately cease.
The case traces its roots to the Supreme Court's landmark decision in Attorney General versus Kabazuguluka, which banned the trial of civilians in the military court, citing lack of jurisdictions among other reasons. Among the civilians whose cases were pending before the military court were retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, Haji Obed Lutale, and Captain Ola Denish Oya, who had been charged with unlawful possession of firearms and treachery. Following the ruling, the Supreme Court ordered the Attorney General to transfer all civilian files to the Director of Public Prosecutions for further actions. Besigye's case was later transferred to the civilian court before Chief Magistrate Christine Nantege for trial.
Now that he has been formally arraigned and a remand warrant issued, and we are pursuing the bail process, he is calling off the hunger strike.
At this stage, the prosecution amended the charge sheet, dropping the charge of treachery and lawful possession of firearms, and instead charging Dr. Kizza Besigye, Haji Obed Lutale and Captain Ola Denish with treason and misprision of treason.
On the basis of the investigations that we conducted with the police, these are the two charges that we found appropriate, and we found sufficient evidence or substantial evidence to sustain the two charges.
Would you go back to Greece? Would you go back to Switzerland? Would you go back to Nairobi? Would you replant a gun there? Because everything, the chain of evidence, everything about that charge was extinguished. It was destroyed.
They asked the court to grant the accused a mandatory bail and nullify the proceedings, alleging that the accused had spent 180 days on remand. Although Chief Magistrate Nantege insisted on proceeding with the case, this prompted Dr. Colonel Kizza Besigye's legal team to file a complaint with the Judicial Service Commission, alleging bias and seeking the magistrate's recusal.
Now we are asking him, at the time when he was in Luzira under the remand warrant of the General Court Martial, what was his status in Luzira? Because Luzira is a remand prison. You can only be there either when you are in remand or a convict.
In a twist of events, applications for mandatory bail were filed before Magistrate Winnie Nancha Jatika at Buganda Road Chief Magistrates Court, and later before Judge Comfort Kania. All the applications were dismissed for lack of merit.
It is my opinion that the sanctity and the authority of the court must be protected, and the court should not be sucked into the arena or the theater of politics. And on that basis, the application for bail is rejected.
Already in the court, or a charge preferred against you, and you are facing a trial on another charge, and once you are brought again before court, you are not entitled to bail. That's a very bad precedent. So this is a matter we are pushing to appeal.
On the day scheduled for commutal to the High Court, the accused lawyers dramatically walked out of the proceedings, alleging trial by ambush and alleging bias by the presiding magistrate, then Esther Nyandwi. Despite the protest, court proceeded to read the indictment to the accused, a move Dr. Kizza Besigye unsuccessfully attempted to block. According to the committal papers, prosecution alleges that Dr. Kizza Besigye, a former senior army officer, a founding member of the Forum for Democratic Change, used international meetings held in Geneva, Switzerland, and Nairobi, Kenya, throughout 2023 and 2024 to coordinate a plan to overthrow the government of Uganda.
That another person intended to commit treason did not give information thereof with all reasonable dispatch to the minister, an administrative officer, a magistrate.
Court further had that these meetings allegedly involved foreign operators, including Kardashian intelligence agent, with whom Besigye is said to have discussed military trainings, sabotage, and a possible drone attack targeting the president. Prosecution also alleges that Dr. Kizza Besigye received $500 from AW to facilitate transportation of 36 Ugandans to Kisumu for military training. The group was arrested before the training commenced, deported to Uganda, and later charged with terrorism. While awaiting trial at the High Court, the accused filed another bail application before Judge Emmanuel Baguma, which was dismissed.
The application for bail is denied on this occasion because there is a likelihood that the applicants, if released on bail while investigations are ongoing, owing to the grave nature of the offense, may fall prey to the temptation to interfere with the investigation.
So we take exception to this. We are grieved, we are appalled, and we do not accept this decision.
They also filed a complaint with the Judicial Service Commission regarding Judge Baguma's conduct and lodged a petition in the Constitutional Court challenging alleged bias and seeking interpretation of the law.
Now that he has demonstrated bias, we have no reason to go back to court. We said no, let it now go to a different judge so that we can see if it's possible to get justice from a different judge.
The prosecution objected to these prayers. As prosecution sought to proceed with a pre-trial, the defense again asked court to hold proceedings pending ruling from the Judicial Service Commission and the Constitutional Court.
It becomes further difficult with the presence of all these many applications after applications which have been before this court to have these amendments done before the matter is actually set for proceeding.
If prosecution has decided to keep quiet, then what is he doing? It's as if he's opening.
The prayers were dismissed. In his ruling, Judge Baguma directed the accused to first take plea before reapplying for bail.
I am aware and alive to the constitutional right of presumption of innocence of the applicants until proven guilty. And in simple terms, retaking enables court to ask an accused person if he or she admits or denies charges.
As the court attempted to read the charges to the accused, the defense once again halted the pre-taking, citing defects in the indictment and alleging trial by ambush.
Indeed, this matter has been fixed for pre-taking today. It would have been received by service, copy, signed, and served on the accused person.
The indictment, whereas the not yet been served a signed copy, the indictment does not, as read earlier, that it shall be handled today or the time when they are going to plead.
Judge Baguma overruled all the prayers, ordering the accused to take plea. Although all the accused declined, to respond to the charges read unto them. This did not hinder Judge Emmanuel Baguma to record a plea of not guilty.
Between the 29th of October 2023 and 16th November 2024, Colonel Richard Dr. Kizabesije, Tifefe, RO/12743, Captain Ola Denish Oya, and others made various utterances on the WhatsApp social media platform where they discussed and expressed their intention to overturn the government of Uganda by force of arms.
The highly needed advice of my lawyers as granted by the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and by law.
I will allow you to say something, but let me know your position. If you are not pleading, something that you are not pleading.
I'm not in a position to plead without advice.
It's okay.
Simply not possible. Prosecution. It's not a prosecution. It's like I'm being tried by the prosecutors and the prosecutors. I have faced for 20 years now. I've been charged with prison. I don't know how many times I've been charged with prison. Prison that never comes.
Court will resume on 21st January 2026 for further hearing of the case. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansuga, UBC News.
You are still watching the 2025 Year in Review Roundup News live here at headquarters on Nile Avenue. Now let's take a very short commercial break, but we return with more stories that rounded up this particular year.
The program has met our expectations in that it has been able to give us business.
They gave us a contract where we did a renovation at their head office.
MTN trained us in their procurement process and also the IT technology.
I was struggling with managing the finances of the company. So when I went for that training, I was able to improve in financial literacy and management.
Are you a female entrepreneur looking to do business with MTN? Log on to www.mtn.co.ug/AWE. Together, our progress is unstoppable.
Tangu mwaka 1986, amani imekuwa msingi wetu. Kwa miaka 40, kila safari ya raia humu nchini ilianza na amani na afya. Huyu ni Grace. Kama mtoto miongoni mwa watoto milioni humu nchini, Grace alichanjwa baada ya kuzaliwa. Kwa miongo mitatu, afya imebaki wito wa taifa kulinda maisha, kuboresha familia na kutunza maisha ya usoni. Chama cha NRM imeweka maisha ya amani na afya bora katikati ya maendeleo kote nchini. Elimu imefungua milango ya Grace kama kila mtoto katika pembe zote kote nchini kupitia elimu ya bure ya shule ya msingi na sekondari na taaluma ya juu ya elimu kote nchini. Nafasi ya jopo kazi kwa kila boma kwa sababu ya mtoto ameelimishwa katika mazingira ya amani. Taifa imepiga hatua mbele na ujuzi na nafasi tunainuka kupitia miradi kama ya mioga raia ambao ni vijana humu nchini. Uwepo wa amani imewezesha Grace kuanza biashara yake kujitegemea na umaarufu, ishara dhahiri kwamba penye amani na mazingira bora mafanikio yanafuata. Kutoka ndoto ya mashujaa kote ulimwenguni, nchi ya Uganda imeng'aa na watu wake vile vile wameng'aa. Kutoka darasani, soko na uwanjani, hadithi ya mafanikio imeendelea kuinuka. Ufanisi huu umejengwa kwa msingi ya amani, uthabiti na uaminifu kwamba tukiwa pamoja humu nchini tunaweza kufanikiwa pamoja. Hii leo Grace amechagua kuendelea kulinda maisha ya usoni ya mwanawe. Amechagua amani, maendeleo na maisha bora ya kesho. Chagua amani, linda maisha ya mtoto yako. Chagua chama cha NRM.
Blue Christmas is near. Spread the festive cheer all December with great deals right here. Shop online with Market by Momo. We deliver. Log on to market.momo.africa. Use the MyMTN app or the new Momo app to register and shop online. Market by Momo is from MTN and powered by MasterCard.
This December, all eyes in Morocco. Africa assemble. All dreams are heading one way.
All passion, all fire.
Because here
we play different.
Choose your side.
Show your colors. Bring your flag.
And we welcome you to Morocco.
You guys ready? Time to wake up.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Year in Review Bulletin of the year 2025 with I, Wadulo Arnold Mark, and Lauren Masika Kazimoto. We now take you into the world of business and a very, very triumphant moment this year where after the big switch in Uganda, which was referred to as the official handover of electricity distribution from Umeme Limited back to the government's UEDCL on April 1st, 2025, ending Umeme's 20-year concession was made. This transition brought electricity management under government control to boost reliability, expand access, and improve financial sustainability, with UEDCL taking over assets and rebranding services like promising a new era in Uganda's power sector. In our Year in Review, after the big switch in Uganda, Dennis Sigoa looks at UEDCL's first 100 days running the power distribution network.
Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited has clocked 100 days of service following the transfer of Umeme's assets on March 31st, 2025. Speaking at a media engagement, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development applauded UEDCL for maintaining business continuity and meeting public expectations.
UEDCL took over and they have been able to do work. And as I speak today, 9th July 2025, the country has not gone in darkness. Sorry for those who have been praying that we go into darkness. Sorry. We've not gone into darkness. We are moving on by supplying power, selling power. He has informed us that they are up to date with UETCL because UETCL, who is the sole purchaser or seller of the electrons, selling to UEDCL to distribute, is not complaining.
According to Paul Mwesigwa, the managing director UEDCL, all hands have been on deck and the results are so far positive. He confirmed that the electricity purchases have continued without disruptions and service delivery is gradually improving, even when as the company grapples with challenges like an aging electricity network.
We managed to have stability of the vending and billing system. Our customers have never realized or experienced any material issue. And because of the network availability, connectivity to the banks, and our effort even to collect the postpaid customers, year to date, cash collection is at 104%.
The Energy Minister reaffirmed government's resolve to boost the last-mile connections and improve power reliability across the country. Nankabirwa also sounded a warning against illegal connections and vandalism of power infrastructure, stressing that offenders will face tough penalties and harsh sentences.
Recently, we had the 17 suspects that have been charged of terrorism. We shall continue with our vigilance. We get you, we put you in, you're a terrorist. Regardless of the magnitude, whether you have stolen one wire or what, you're a terrorist. But there is a problem of power theft. Power theft, especially in the areas in the eastern. Still Elgon. People tap and everybody is seeing. I wonder whether we have RDCs in those areas because these represent the president. Resident district commissioners, where are you when people are...
Samuel Sendono, UBC News.
And into sports, as 2025 comes to a close, the sports sector has celebrated many achievements, including Jacob Kiplimo's winning of the Chicago Marathon and the reality of hosting the Championship of African Nations CHAN tournament. But none of the above weighs more than Uganda getting a first ever state-of-the-art facility upon the official commissioning of the 20,000-seater Hoima City Stadium by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni on the 24th of December 2025. Philip Aguta has the report.
The grand opening of Hoima Stadium featured an exciting match between the Chitara FC and KCC FC, inaugurated by President Yoweri Museveni with a ceremonial football kick that excited the audience. Upon arrival, President Museveni, accompanied by the First Lady, who doubles as the Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, took a guided tour of the stadium. In his address to the spectators and senior government officials, Museveni highlighted that the unveiling of Hoima Stadium signifies Uganda's readiness to host the 2027 African Cup of Nations and other continental football tournaments.
We are not concentrated so much on it because we are busy with the security, agriculture, manufacturing, some of the services. But now, as Mama said, when we had the Objunanziwa, bukwakira hano AFCON hamwe n'abagenzi betu aba Kenya na Tanzania, twagamba tukusobora kuhemuka tinokora kyona.
He emphasized that Uganda is now headed for serious investment in sports thanks to the systematic economic growth which has strengthened the nation.
We have money. Why? Because we have developed our economy in a systematic way. First of all, agriculture. Uganda must be one of the few countries in the world that do not import food. Most of the food we eat is grown by us here.
The First Lady praised the President for his commitment to talent development. The First Lady praised the President for his commitment to talent development and for supporting sports with his national asset building to the international standard.
Thank you, Mr. President. You made it possible for SUMA to be procured as well as funds to be availed for us to get this job done. Your wisdom, your guidance in infrastructure development as we prepare to co-host AFCON 2027 is something we must thank God for.
She stated that more sporting facilities will be established before Uganda hosts the next African Cup of Nations in 2027, fully funded by the government of Uganda.
Your Excellency, Hoima City Stadium is one of the several sports facilities that the NRM government is going to establish within the next 18 months. That is by June 2027, due to the opportunity we have as a country to co-host AFCON 2027. Hoima City Stadium shall have 3 other basic sports fields to support the hosting of AFCON 2027 matches as per the standard of the Confederation of African Football.
Additionally, she mentioned that more government projects, including a public university, are ready in pipeline for Hoima and Bunyoro sub-region.
The same level of commitment that the government has shown in bringing Hoima City Stadium to reality is the same resolve we have as a ministry to see that the public university for Bunyoro region becomes a reality.
The stadium project was completed in just a year and 2 months State Minister for Sports, Peter Gwank, noted that it has been one of the most efficient and rapid undertakings in Uganda's infrastructure development.
The public appraisal of works follows deliberate strategy by Mama, the First Lady, and Minister of Education and Sports to work transparently and let the public in each and every stage of the construction.
Mama's excellent work here reflects the broader strength of Turkish construction companies active in Uganda. Beyond delivering high-quality infrastructure, these companies have made a direct contribution to the Ugandan economy.
Philippa Guta and Gloria Gutavinci for UBC News in Hoima.
Well, one of my highlights of this particular story is just seeing the flexibility of the president. You see that he still got it.
I know. I think we also saw a similar act when he was in the primaries, where he did
the joke. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So I think, but also above the stadium, I think Hoima is a district to watch for in the next 15 years.
Absolutely.
Remember, we are having it's now the oil city.
Yes.
It's the city hosting the Hoima Stadium.
Yes.
We're going to be having an international airport within
being
that
built.
Region. So I think as Uganda looks to make the $500 billion GDP by 2040,
yes,
I feel like Hoima is going to be a very good benchmark to look out for. Yeah, otherwise we've come to the end of our Year in Review bulletin. Thank you very much for being a lovely audience. And we would like to compel you to take some time, go pray or do something in your home that helps you meditate and reflect upon your year, this previous year and also the year that's coming up, because so many things are going to be set in motion, but you need to be in alignment with whatever God is doing in your life. I also do compel you, come check out Phaneroo Ministries International. This evening we're going to be having the night of prayer. So come pray with us. We'll be starting from about 7 p.m. up to 6 a.m. in the morning. So, Lorraine, will you be praying tonight?
Well, I will not be praying tonight, but I'll be praying online.
Okay, all right.
In the comfort of my sitting room.
Okay, all right.
And with that, we do come to the end of this Year in Review. Thank you so much for allowing us into your space this evening. And on our behalf and on behalf of the team that has worked tirelessly behind the scenes to put all these stories together, we want to wish you a happy, happy New Year 2026. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto and my colleague.
And I am Odulo Arnold Mark. Have yourselves a lovely New Year.